All good to go live.
I am here to say vote for Kiwi Party. Thank you for your time.
Alright, we're live. Where's my stream URL? Wait, no, wrong one.
But this is too good.
Wrong one. Where? How the fuck do I? How do I get my? Oh, there's my share link. There we go. Rip. That's the wrong one. Look at that beautiful thing.
ABC. Put it on mute.
My favorite New Zealand broadcasting company.
Jesus, look at how big everyone is over there and the other thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
All right, we technically are live, so we should be a little bit more professional, shouldn't we? They'll be hearing us by this point. There's a little bit of a delay, so they might just hear us still fucking around, but let's do this. So hello everyone, welcome.
Hello.
What big warm welcome to the panel today. We've got Gregor the Beggar, the shadow leader of the Liberal Party, Boyton Standard the front, Merrily Putrid of the Greens, and Imno Fox. Imno Fox will be arriving shortly for the.
I've always wondered this. Is it Emno Fox or Under Fox?
Oh well, technically he's dead.
Because I always pronounced it Under Fox.
Because I didn't know how you're gonna bring me back from the grave for this. But...
Yeah, Imno Rabbit. Also, your mics are very quiet, both.
Yeah, you can hear me fine, right?
You're perfectly fine. The other ones are not.
Most of the money for the campaign went to went to all the hoardings, etc. It didn't really go to the mic.
I can see. Well, before we start getting results, we're just gonna, since you are pundits, let's get some punditry. Let's get some fucking.
Hello, Under Rabbit.
Ah, we got the rabbit. Let's get some punditry. Let's get some predictions.
Punditry. Okay, my prediction. I think that I think that it's all going to be very close one thing. There are some which obviously more certain, but I think the seats to watch are obviously Gregor's seat of Waitemata. There's also Wellington, which is the Labour leader seat, Boomfa, and of course there's my seat of Araki, which I think that's going to be very close. I think it's a pretty genuine toss-up. I don't know who's going to win there. I hope it's me, of course, but we'll just have to find out.
In terms of who campaigned the most in Slovakia,
is there a problem, or can I just not? Is no one talking?
It appears that Putin is trying to talk, but has the quietest mic in the world.
Okay, it isn't even talking. I'm just.
The Liberal Party mic a bit louder.
Talking into the computer.
Wait, can you hear me better? Can you hear me better now?
That's much better. Yes.
Someone is echoing. I'm just saying.
Someone is. It's either you or Imno.
I think that Labour and Greens will get a majority, and that Awaki will be won by Yuma. These are my predictions.
Very pessimistic predictions for your own side.
I feel like people are muffled. Is it just me?
Well.
I feel like tech issues arising from election night. I don't think there's ever been an election night in this country which has gone smoothly.
Not wrong. Well, you know what? We'll figure this out as we go. People can try and fix their microphones. People can try and fix their muffled. Hopefully, everyone in the audience can hear, because I sure as hell am not getting live feedback. So we'll go. I was originally going to have a photo of our lovely panel, but then I forgot to. So we'll just get right into the results. We are getting from the Electoral Commission now roughly 9% counted, so obviously very early returns, but still rather interesting. Seems to roughly match pre-election polling. You lot might not see this on your screen yet due to the delay, but you will get it in a moment.
Oh, I think I see it. No, it's white. It's a white screen.
All right, that means you are going to momentarily get it. Look, they're interesting results, folks, but dissecting them is what I have you for.
Feminist initiative on 11%, that's not right. The feminist initiative is not on 11%.
I mean, who knows? It could be a really
God.
strong time at the last moment for the feminist initiative. So
This is
I wouldn't rule it out, but
forwards. Look at the
everything is an outlier.
Kiwi Party. This is well, obviously we've seen the Liberals. They've gone above. They've won more than we expected at this stage. 6C. The Greens aren't doing that well. They were obviously close to 50% before the campaign, but now they're at 30%, 29. Feminist Initiative blowing everything out of the water. 2C. They would elect both their leader and their deputy on those numbers. Of course, the MP for Wellington and Sylvia Agnew, the former leader of the opposition, I believe. And the Kiwi Party not doing too well. Looks like they lose a seat in those numbers. And the Front likewise.
I think at 9% Celtic, it's too early to make any strong calls. I expect the Labour Party will obviously surpass the Liberal Party by the end of the night. That's my call.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, bud. Whatever you say.
All right. We have results now from Canterbury. Obviously, not a seat that was ever particularly in doubt. All the polling seemed to show the same outcome. We do apologise for our graphics, by the way. Our department has been fired. This is the job of one intern.
Sorry, the intern under the bus.
I hope it's probably not that bad. Don't be so. Can't see it. Oh my god, my eyes. Oh god.
Well, that's a strong result for the Prime Minister there. Not surprising given the widespread support this government has right across the country, including in urban areas such as Canterbury.
That's a very
My
weak
eyes.
result.
Obviously, we see the feminist leader doing very well with the backing of course, the Liberals and the right wing. The Kiwi Party not doing too well, but the Prime Minister has overall been re-elected with an even larger majority, and I think that it shows that the country at this stage, they're backing the Greens and they're backing a progressive agenda for New Zealand, for Aotearoa.
If you look at these numbers, it's quite clear to see that the name People's Republic of Christchurch really holds up with the feminists and the Greens getting an overwhelming supermajority.
We're moving now to results from Taranaki.
Is it Taranaki or Taranaki?
I'll be honest with you, folks. I have no idea.
Forwards leaders and the Kiwi leader, wasn't it? Or am I mistaken? Is there a problem, or can you just not hear me?
Wait, what is your mistake?
What?
What are you asking about?
Is in Taranaki? Oh, the BHR has evidently been elected quite a big majority there again, with of course maybe the two dueling candidacies of the minor party leaders perhaps splitting the vote. But I think
that's not a strong result for Madison and the Greens, given the centre vote overwhelmingly collectively squashes Madison's result. But
not by that much, though. I mean, you could reasonably expect there to be some leakage from the Greens.
If the centre was more organised, Madison will be out of Taranaki.
That's a bit of a big claim there. I doubt it. I think that overall it's not as big as a majority as last time, because the Nationals stood someone who wanted to get drunk and fuck mad bitches, but I think that it's still a pretty good result for the Greens.
I would like to raise a point real quick that Tosin Russian, while he is a brand in of himself, the fact that Forwards had just formed just prior to this election, and already they're giving such a strong result that they almost overtook an old brand like Kiwi, really shows, I feel, where the momentum is lying in this election and into elections into the future.
Okay, we are moving on to fresh results from the EC as we bring the party vote back. Now at 44% counted after those discussions. That will be coming up on your screens in a moment.
Doesn't come on my screen yet.
Oh yes, I have a second monitor now. If we can. There we go.
Oh, no, there we don't go. As a matter of fact, still not loading.
Seems like the Greens are stabilizing
Why?
out a little bit right now.
Yeah, so forwards is obviously in Parliament on these numbers. They weren't on the last. The Greens very much up, Labour very much down. But on these numbers, we'd still see a Green Labour government most likely, which is my preferred option, of course.
It's exciting and brilliant for the New Zealand public to see the front slowly throughout the night
Yes, I
falling
think that we
lower
can
and
do
lower
it.
below the 4%
I'm
threshold.
very pleased to see that they're getting closer and closer to the threshold, and hopefully they fall below that threshold by the time all the votes tally.
Alrighty, we are now going to
I think that
another seat previously won by the Greens at the last election. We're going to Auckland Central. We have
Auckland
forgot to mention
Johnny
Peter
Photo
facing a strong challenge from the Liberals JQ 8678, and we'll have the outcome of that up on your screen in a moment.
So let's see. Is the
If
far
there's,
left
one, if
up?
there's one thing I can raise right now, I'd like to mention how I hope that is a disappointing result.
It's a result for the Greens there, I'd say. I think that Auckland Central, Tamaki Makaurau, they've overwhelmingly backed the re-election of Forgot to Mention Peter and the Greens. So I think
Say
that's a good result.
overwhelmingly.
Nice.
Nice. Well put. I'm no rabbit. Is it I'm no rabbit or am no rabbit?
Whichever you prefer.
Okay.
Peter was expelled as the MP for Auckland
Yeah,
Central
I think that it's
Minister on activity. So it really does show that there are some swings against the Greens, considering how close he won in this seat last. How much he won in this seat last time. It clearly shows that there is a bit of a liberal swing here, as there's a bit of clashback against that. Clearly, we see a bit of the feminist initiative in Kiwi splitting the vote. We don't know where that vote would go. So.
Well, and here we see the
we
result for
don't have
Hauraki.
Yes, we've just
we don't
gotten
rank our
fresh
votes. We
results.
don't get to choose the people who voted Kiwi, the people who voted were onto Hauraki. And yes, I would say that's a similar result. We can see the Green Frodo
What
2000.
a boring race.
Boring race, yes. But the Greens been elected with probably a near majority. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the maths offhand, but it looks like a near majority. But I think that considering the results of the previous by-election, how that was very fiercely contested, it wasn't this time around. The forward deputy has done pretty well, and but the Greens have still been re-elected, so I would consider that a win. And I think that all
Frodo
the
was
Greens
quite
wins.
low on the Greens list, right down at number 8, so he might be leapfrogging here people like Kate or Neat Saucer, depending on how the list vote goes.
Well, I'd also like to mention something that Les Chevalier Malfait is one of the best people I've ever known, and so this is a disappointing result for me.
You haven't met my wife.
Damn.
All right, we'll now go on to our first seat. We have results from our first seat without a strong Greens challenger or incumbent. We have results from Wellington, where Labour leader Boomfar was contesting the seat.
Those voters decided to back the Boom. Oh god. Back the Boom. Boom 2020.
Yes, the Boomf and his Fijian wife.
She's lovely.
God bless Fiji.
God. Can't get over that. Has Wellington backed the Boom?
And Bumper has narrowly won Wellington despite
Oh,
a
I
strong
can't see.
campaign from the Liberals. The Labour leader has pulled
Oh no, yes.
through despite the odds, despite folk travelling around the country to boost the Labour vote. He has still pulled through in Wellington despite a dedicated and relentless campaign from the Liberals. So it's a strong result for Bumper and the Labour Party there.
I think the Boom has sufficiently been backed. Labour's won Wellington. I'd like to congratulate them on that. Obviously, despite the feminists splitting the vote quite a bit, he still managed to pull out, and I think that Boom will be a great leader of the Labour Party, and I look forward to working with him in the next Parliament, presuming that I'm also up there.
And that's a gain from ACT. Nice to see it. You love to see
Yes.
it.
We love to see it, don't we? Labour gained from that.
Now there,
But I think that overall there's a pattern of results tonight, and the pattern of results is a wipeout of the Liberal Party and to gain progressive and left-wing politics in Aotearoa.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
we still have a big question and answer this election, and that is if the unregistered Maori Party will be entering the parliament. I've got word that we are now going to have results from
Not
Roe
really a
shortly
question,
up on
is
the
it?
screen.
See, okay, but I don't know how to say it. I'm not.
Oh,
Can't
we
see it all.
apologise for the technical delay. Ah, there we go.
Oh, it's not. Can't see it. Okay. Rohe? Is it showing up?
Well, that's
Ooh,
not a surprising result for not the dark web and the Labour Party. You know,
No,
Māori
I'm
voters
lagging behind.
support this government's agenda. They don't support the destabilising campaign from the Liberals and the Independent Māori Party. That's not the dark web. They were nearly double the vote of the Independent Māori candidate. So a brilliant result for Labour and the government today in Rohi.
I can't see
well,
the results right now, so 1 second. I'm just gonna
considering that
refresh them.
Trump would
Oh,
label
there
the
it's pretty overwhelming.
Maori affairs. So I don't know what you're really talking about on Labour's history of deliverance, considering they haven't delivered any of their policies. But whatever you say, I'm not here to try and really argue the point further.
I must say, I'm really
You
surprised
already lost.
just by the extent of Not the Dark Web's victory, because I honestly thought that it would be closer in Rawhead. But evidently, voters in Rawhead, just like they have across much of the country, as we can see tonight, they've backed Labour, they've backed the Greens, they've backed a left-wing government for Aotearoa's future. They haven't backed the Māori Party. They haven't backed the Liberal-backed candidate, the Team Liberal candidate. They've backed the Labour Party.
Well, let's
The
bring up
reality here is this is a strong mandate from Māori voters for the
Yeah,
Labour Party and the
a very
government.
strong
They
mandate.
are
party
happy
vote
with the government's
coming in.
approach. They are down. Māori voters are sick and tired of having housing issues neglected, of welfare issues neglected, of the environment neglected, and that is the agenda that the Māori Party and the Liberal Party had for Māori this election, and it has been soundly rejected.
Well, we never had that agenda in the first place, I'll have you know, but it's also really interesting considering that all of those points, you could have delivered a lot of change when you had the Maori Affairs Ministry last election, and then you guys
The
did nothing.
votes are clear. Māori voters have backed the Labour Party. They've backed the left-wing government. They've overwhelmingly rejected your pick for them.
Well, here we have the latest party votes up on the screen, and we're seeing the Labour Party
Oh my!
back up to the Liberals, who are not doing as
Considering
well as they were polling. Unfortunately, we
front's
also
up.
see the
It's
front on
disappointing.
2 seats, almost catching up with the feminists. So, the two radical parties neck and neck there for 2 seats.
I must say, I do hope that front result doesn't stick. I don't want them getting two. Well, they can't get two seats. It's mathematically impossible, but I don't want them having that much of it. I don't want. I'm disappointed if those are the final results, and I'm also happy to see that. Oh no, I'm not happy to see that at the moment the left wing vote appears to have gone down. That's a disappointing result, but I think that we've only got 52% counted, and I think that we will have more. We'll see the left wing vote increase and the front vote go down, and the liberal vote go down, because that's the pattern that we've seen tonight.
A significant game changer with the Hauraki race, where whether or not independent candidate Slater wins, could totally change the makeup of Parliament.
I think that Rafferty will be very interesting. Yes.
Got for everyone for this panel, particularly interesting results from a seat that two of you were contesting out in Aoraki. Those will be coming on the screen shortly. Any last minute predictions?
I think that I hope I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
I think we can expect a strong result from you, member Labour Party, who came in late with a strong campaign when the other candidates, a strong debate performance, with all the other candidates slipping over their feet.
They only came once they saw blood in the water, once they found a poll that might be full. I've been there since the start, delivering for the people of Aoraki. Oh, very happy with that.
69,000 for Yuma, nice.
Yeah, I think we can pretty easily see that the voters of Aoraki, they've re-elected me, of course, and they've backed the Greens, and of course, a significant amount also voted Labour and Umaton, who's come in third, as the votes show. But I think that overwhelmingly, the voters of Aoraki have re-elected Green MP in Parliament who will fight for them, and I'm glad to be serving the people of Iraq in Parliament, the people of Dunedin, the people of Nelson, the people of Greymouth, the people living in Invercargill, the people of Kaikoura, and so many more. I'm very happy with this result, and I'm happy that the voters of Iraqi have a majority of them have backed either the Green candidate or the Labour candidate, and I'm very happy to see that. And I think that
which
it's
is
a trend that
the party didn't have a single rural affairs policy this term, nor did it deliver on a single rural affairs policy last term.
we raised the minimum wage for Iraq residents, and we've wiped student debts. We've wiped student debts, which have helped a lot of people in Iraq, especially those in
And
the
the
Middle East,
Liberals
especially those
still laugh.
The Auckland city in Auckland, $16 billion towards that, which could have gone to the rural people in their farms, could have gone to the roadsides in the rural country.
coalition of cruelty.
All right, everyone.
All I
The
can say
campaign is over. We do now have results from Northland, another Labour hopeful seat where we saw a strong independent challenge.
I'm not particularly hopeful. Let's be real
I
here.
think I think that you'll pull out because ultimately you've run a very good campaign, and the people.
No, I didn't. I was jet setting around the country trying to up the list vote. I predict a strong show for the Liberals here. Matt ran a strong campaign on a similar platform. I mean, Northland really had no choice.
You're
had
not
three
supposed
candidates,
to say
they're all
I
the
didn't
same.
run a good campaign. That's like politics stuff. Oh well, you've been real.
Well, that's a terrible result for the Liberals. Oh my goodness, they were quashed by their own independent candidate.
Yeah, no, the people of Northland have evidently they voted strongly against the Liberals. The independent candidate ran a very anti-Liberal campaign. And they've been beaten. They've come in last. Matt Monty has come in last.
It was a close race. I'll give both candidates that. I'm not surprised it was such a thin margin.
Yeah, I honestly I am very glad of this result. I think voters in Northland they've overwhelmingly backed Labour. They've backed the left. They haven't backed the Liberals. The Liberals, well, the Nationals helped us. The National Party helped us lead the last election, but they haven't. I'm sorry.
What we're seeing so far is a strong sweep for the Labour Party. All three electorates we were aiming to win, and we've won them all. So
it does seem undeniable that if either Matt Monty or Generic Cereal here were not running, we would be seeing a very different result from Northland. But we will move on now to Ikaroa. We have Later Slater, the independent, seeking to hold on against attempts from the Greens to unseat him. We will see how that result shapes out in just a moment.
I think that what will happen is, well, overall, I don't.
There we are.
No, what? It's not.
You may be lagging behind your feed, but we are live.
Oh yeah, here we go. Ikaroa. Great job, Later Slater. I congratulate you.
That's a significant game change for the makeup of Parliament. Which party will be losing a seat and which Slater's advantage? Probably the Greens. So that's a significant issue for the Greens in forming a government.
I think that overall in Ikaroa, the choices were between three left-wing progressive candidates. They were overwhelmingly between that. We don't know which way it lays swing. I hope that it stays true to its principles and backs a Green government or a Labour.
My close and personal ties with Later Slater, and so therefore this is a result which I really approve of, and I'm really happy that he's.
Could you please delve into your close and personal ties with this candidate?
Please do. We'd love to hear.
Or is that not appropriate for
no,
7 p.m. on television?
I think that people would love to hear about how Later Slater secured the Liberals' endorsement.
Two terms ago, I sponsored legislation on the basic right to privacy, and so I wish to enforce my Bill of Rights to privacy and refrain from answering the question.
All right, we'll bail you out here and move on. We have more results at 72% counted. We are starting to get a much better idea of how the list vote is going to shape up when we hit 100%. And that should be up in just a moment. There we are, latest figures from the EC.
I think I'm What was that?
Bruh.
Do not burp. Oh my, that's a. I'm glad.
Well,
I'm glad to see the front down. They're still on 2 seats.
As
but
I
down-
predicted, Labour and Liberals neck and neck for second place. I think we'll keep seeing Labour trending up throughout the night. It's not a surprising result given the Liberals' shocking, terrible, and offensive campaign. The sad thing is the front's still on 2 seats. They don't even
Yeah.
have two candidates. That's a disaster for New Zealand.
But yeah, Labour and Labour's up. The Liberals are down. The Greens still holding their up seats. But what's disappointing is to see, the Radical front still on 2 seats. Hopefully they go down as the night continues. We see the Kiwi Party and Forwards, of course, on 1 seat. It looks like they'll both cross the threshold. And of course, Feminist Initiative doing a bit better than expected on 2 seats. I think that overwhelmingly these results show that we're going to get a left-wing government, a progressive government, a Green Labour government for Aotearoa and for our future.
All right, everyone, we are about to get results from Waitemata.
What's a month? That's your seat, Gregor. Let's see if we manage.
Let's watch you lose.
Let's watch you lose.
I'm fairly confident in this. I was just at the Freedom Temple down in Waitemata, and already there's a lot of energy, especially from the migrant community, which seems to overwhelmingly be rejecting Labour for some reason this election, especially Fiji and Indian
What do you mean,
migrants.
deputy leader?
And a strong result for Uncook, absolutely crushing Gregor the Bear despite the feminists splitting the left vote. That is a terrible result from a Liberal leader.
The Liberals are.
I
the
really
Liberal
sympathise
leader's
with your
out.
loss.
He's gone. The Liberal leader has lost his seat. This is very.
Well, I'm not the leader, but if it is the
You are
decision
the
of what
leader.
You are, but let's be honest here.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Green gain from the Liberals.
We see
That's
that
a
overwhelmingly,
massive-
even the
The
voters
co-leader of the Greens has
Vegas and all,
wiped out
they've endorsed the
the
Greens.
leader
They've
from
endorsed
Liberals.
the Greens co-leader Uncook Meatloaf. I'm very glad to see that result, and I think that this shows that it's very likely that we're going to have a Green government in power tonight.
All right, in absence of any more thoughts on that result, we are moving now on to Manukau, another seat
Let's see the other Liberals.
with
Let's see
another
the
seat
other
with a Liberal incumbent, this time Stranger 195, official leader of the Liberal Party.
quote unquote
The juror leader, we should.
the leader.
Yeah, the leader of the Liberal Party. Yeah, you're correct.
The acting leader.
And that's a strong result for Kate squashing
Oh,
the Liberal leader. And that's a terrible result for the Liberal. Stranger 195 spent so much time in his electorate neglecting the national campaign. We barely saw him on our television screens. We barely saw him. We didn't even see him in the leaders' debate. And now here he is losing his seat.
Great result for the Greens. Great result for Captain Flag.
Great result from the Labour Party in that seat as well.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Of course, Stranger 195 is lost his seat. Will probably still be in Parliament anyway. He's lost his seat, and I'm looking forward to working with Kate. And I think that overall, given the results, we're going to have a Green Labour government. So yeah, as Olivia Jones of The Independent points out, the Liberals have not won a single electorate seat tonight. Let that sink in. They've lost their leader. They've lost their official leader, and it looks like there's going to be a left-wing government in power tonight.
Now, following on from that, we are moving to 100% counted. It has obviously been a horror night for the Liberal Party, and those final results on the list will confirm just how bad the damage is if we are looking at a cowed Liberal Party or one that is able to effectively challenge whichever government we may get after tonight. And that should be up
The
on your
Liberals
screen.
and we're hearing now that the Liberal candidate for Northland is defecting to form New Zealand First. Oh, and there we go. It's going to be a Greens Labour government.
That's interesting.
We're getting a left-wing government in power again.
A strong result from the Labour Party, only 1% behind the Liberals, tied for second place on the seat count.
Yeah, no,
And then
it
those
looks like
Kiwi Fords and the front all on 2 or 1
the front
seat.
are down. We love to see it. Feminist Initiative still on 2 seats, and I think I can see Twitter's blowing up. A bunch of Liberals are going to defect and go form New Zealand First. sure it'll be great news for racists in this country, not so much the Liberal Party, but
Let's not throw the R word around too much. New Zealand First historically has always been a strong voice for rural New Zealand, and I think we need more of that in our parliament.
yes, 33% for the Greens, while it's not as good as some may have previously expected, I think that it, along with the Labour Party, it shows that we've got a strong mandate to govern. And the Liberals have fallen to 20%. That's below their pre-election polling. They've lost Waitemata, they've lost Manukau, they're on 4 seats. And I think this is a disaster night for the Liberals.
At the end of the night, the big story of this election campaign is the significant surge from the Labour Party. We got, 6% of the last election, and now we're triple that this election with 4 seats out of 21.
Yeah, no, I'd like to tip my hat to you. You guys have done a very good job. Good job to Boomfo, who won
We
Wellington.
we also cannot forget the fact that later Slater has won his seat in
Yes, that's +1 independent, but it looks like that will be, yeah, +1 independent. We've got, there are a few possible coalitions if the Greens choose not to govern with Labour, although I have no idea that. You could have Greens, the Feminists, and either the Kiwi Party forwards or Slater, but I really doubt that will happen.
The interesting angle is, of course, Greens have won more than 7 electorates, so they will be getting 8 electorates, isn't it? So
no,
exactly 7.
They've won 7.
Exactly
No, they've won.
Wow.
They won Aoraki, they won Canterbury, they won Taranaki, they won Hauraki, they won Manukau, they won Auckland Central, and they won. That's 7. Labour won 3, and the Independents won 1. So
that's right.
7
Good math.
+1, 11.
Should join the feminists.
I think the Feminists have done pretty well. The Kiwi Party is down, which I'm not going to comment on the Kiwi Party. It looks like only the Waitrungu will be in it. Bloody Chrome's out. And Boyton Stundle, but I butchered that. But anyway.
It will be important to wait for the final results later on to see how the chips. Well, these will be the preliminary results. We'll need to see how Slater's seat affects the seat counts for every other party. And
well, no, hang on. These total 20 though. 7 plus 4 is 11. 11 plus 4 is 15. Plus 2 is 17. Then plus 1, 2, 3 is 20. So Slater's seat has been factored in.
Oh, good.
So these are the results. So it looks like Labour Greens government, hopefully.
Interesting.
That's the end of our live coverage. Thank you very much to the panel for attending.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to the voters of Aoraki for electing me, and to the voters of Aotearoa for electing the left-wing government.
And you know what? God bless New Zealand.
How the cards fell.
Labour for New Zealand #wellbeing.